What's going on? It's a cold but beautiful morning here in Ohio. I'm starting the video early. I'm still even feeling a little groggy, but that's because today I'm going sourcing on my normal sourcing route. I'm going to try to get 70 to 100 items, my typical amount, and then I'm going to come back and you guys are going to pick the price. My name's Caleb. I'm a full-time reseller. Like I said, I'm about to head out on my sourcing route. But this afternoon, I'm going to be selling every single item on Whatnot just to see what I could profit if I had to sell every single item that I bought in just one day. So it's time for me to grab my coffee, head out, get to the thrift stores. All right, I just pulled up to the thrift. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my thought process on the idea for the video. I am a reseller and I've been an eBay reseller for a long time, but I'm working on increasing my profit per hour because I'm just trying to provide the most amount of money for my family in the shortest amount of time. That's my whole reason for being self-employed at this point in my life. Now, I'm very blessed and grateful to do something that I enjoy and that's fun, but if I can make more money per hour doing something slightly different, I'm all for that. And the nice thing about selling on Whatnot is that it's not really that much different than what I'm already doing. It's just a slight tweak to the operation. So what I'm going to be doing today is keeping track of the time I have into everything that I'm doing today. And I'm going to be able to purchase all the inventory and sell all the inventory in one day so I can see what my true profit per hour is for one full day of trying to buy and sell everything on Whatnot. I think my strategy for pricing is I'm going to average my cost of goods from the morning and start the bids as low as I can, but keeping it at or above my average cost of goods. So typically my average cost of goods on this morning thrift would be somewhere between $7 and $8. I might be a little bit pickier and try to get that between $6 and $7 so that I can do like a $7 start on all the items on the Whatnot show. So you have to stick around and find out what the strategy ends up being because I'm just kind of making this up on the fly. But yeah, next time you see me, you're going to see me in the thrift store. I'm going to try to do a little update. I have my mom with me because there is a senior discount at the thrifts this morning. And what I do is I go through and I try to fill my cart and then I have her look through everything for flaws. So we became a pretty good team on this morning thrift route every week. So I'll probably do a check-in when I swap carts with her and get a fresh cart so you guys can see the first cart and maybe see a few of the items. All right, got the first cart full. This is all stuff that I'm gonna pick up over on this side. And then this is like my lookup pile. So I'm gonna switch carts with my mom, start fresh. She's gonna start looking over these items for flaws and then we'll meet back up. New tags Levi's coming today. Like new condition Georgia boots, some good stuff. All right, little rundown of what we got going on. This is my second cart. Once again, lookups, keepers, and then my mom has gone through all of this and this is all stuff that we're ready to go, and this is all stuff that had flaws that's going to go back. So this is our little system. We are going to keep cooking here. All right, so going through all the items, I think I've gone through the whole store, so now I'm just looking up things that needed looked up because I wasn't sure if I should pick it up or not, and checking everything for flaws with my mom. We have, I think, 2 full carts of stuff that's good to go. I just found a crazy find that I got to show you guys that I'm going to be running on Whatnot. The brand is Beyond Clothing Systems. If you find camo jackets from this brand or camo pants, they can be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm going to pay 25% off of 20, so $15 for this. I think that on eBay you could sell this for $100 to $200. So we'll see what it sells for on Whatnot. All right, I'm about to check out and I'm going to let you guys know when I get it loaded up in the car how many items. Unfortunately, I forgot my IKEA bags today, so that is really unfortunate. I'm going to have to use like 1 million of their bags here. But it's all right. We'll get it loaded up and I'll let you know how many items we're running this afternoon. I think it's like between 10:30 and 11. So we're basically 3 hours into the day. All right. It says 99 items, but there was 3 typos. So they had to fix it with like adding another item. So it's 96 items. And then there's 2 items for my wife. So we did 94 items for $860. I'm going to figure out what that math is. So that's $9 per piece, which actually is more than what I usually pay per item, but I paid up a ton for a couple really good items. So I'm hoping that that pays off. I'm still undecided on what I'm going to start the auctions at. I feel like I get a better response on the auctions when I start it a little bit lower, but that is a risk because I paid basically $9 per item. So if I start everything at, let's say, $5, you know, if somebody sells for $5, I'm technically losing money. But I'm still undecided. I still think the items are so good. Like, I think I have a couple items that should sell for like between $50 and $100 even on Whatnot because they're going to resell for so much money. So I think, you know, you sell a couple of those, you get your money back pretty quick. So basically anything over $860 is going to be my profit, you know, obviously after whatnot fees. So I'm excited. I'm nervous. I've never done a show this big either, so prepping for it might be a little tricky. So I'm going to get home and get to it. Let's see, what time is it now? It's 11:20. So that means basically from when I started getting ready to leave, that was like 7:20. I really left at like 7:35. But let's just call that 4 hours. So I have 4 hours into the sourcing for 90 some items. So I'm guessing the show is going to be like between an hour and a half and 2 hours. That's going to be 6 hours. So if I can prep this in 2 hours, I'd have less than 8 hours. So let's see how much money I can make in 8 hours of actual work on a random day during my week. All right, the garage is in chaos right now because it just had a huge bulk buy. You probably already saw that video when this one comes out. If you haven't, go check it out. Crazy haul. I just got everything unloaded. That's everything that I just picked up, and I'm gonna get it on this rack. Hopefully I have enough hangers. I didn't even think about that. So hopefully we can figure this thing out. I'll keep you guys posted. Maybe show you guys a couple of the best finds from the day that are gonna be going on the Whatnot show. Okay, I was a little worried about the cost of goods, but I think we're gonna be okay. We have G4, North Face, Nuit tags, Robert Graham, super great pattern and print. Another Robert Graham, great size 2XL tall, super great pattern and print. We have Nuit tags, Vineyard Vines Performance, another G4 polo with like the skull in the back. Nuit tags, waterproof Columbia, women's plus size. This is an insane piece. Made in Italy, Polo Ralph Lauren summer blazer, unstructured blazer. We have Ermenegildo Xenia Selvage denim in white. Nuit tags, Levi's, Carhartt double knees. That's just all I've pulled out so far. That's just me literally grabbing random items from the bag. So pretty much every item is going to be a really good item because I was really picky today and still came home with 94 items we're gonna run today. So I can't wait to see what the results are. I'm very anxious. I'm ready to get this thing going, but I gotta get these items prepped. So we're just barely getting started here. So we gotta keep going. All right, just finished up eating lunch, having some time with the fam, holding the baby for a little bit. And it is about 1:15. So I think that if I can get prepped by 3 and do the show in 2 hours, I'll have just about 8 hours into this show if I can ship it in 1 hour, which will be difficult to ship about 100 items in 1 hour because I don't have my processes perfect yet. But that's gonna be my goal. So then I can take my profit and divide that by 8 hours and figure out what my hourly wage was for this task, of course. Here's the update. I got all this racked up, and then the shoes are gonna be right here. I decided I'm gonna make a different SKU system for the shoes because I got these little cards, these numbered cards that go on the hangers to try to keep myself organized for all of this. Definitely gonna be the biggest show I've ran ever on Whatnot. So I'm hoping that I can stay organized and keep things moving quickly because that is gonna be one of the secrets to this equation of having a good profit per hour. If I'm fumbling through, taking a long time, that's only gonna slow me down and lower my profit per hour, which is the whole experiment here. I'm gonna show you guys a few more of the items. I have 3 of these Etro or Etro all over print polos. These have a crazy sales price on eBay. I got a Nuit tags, J. Crew sweatshirt, Nuit tags, Under Armour board shorts, LL Bean crew neck sweatshirt, True Religion thermal hoodie, 3XL Under Armour camo, REI base layer, Hook fishing shirt, Nike on-field Patriots hoodie, North Face flash dry, Under Armour Daytona jacket, another Under Armour Daytona jacket. We got 2 vintage LL Bean pants. These are New York Jets player issue Nike shorts. Beyond Clothing Systems, huge bolo. Don't miss that tag. Some Nike sweat shorts, 2 times pair of Patagonia shorts. Selling those as a lot together. Task Bamboo Performance Pants, Vineyard Vines hoodie, Ralph Lauren 2XL Nuit tags, McLaren rugby shirt, pre-owned comp of $50 for a Hollister item. Ella Bean Anorak jacket, this is Loro Piana fabric. Just crazy items. So I am just absolutely curious at what people are going to bid on these and what I'm going to make or potentially lose. I decided to do $5 starts. I just felt like starting them at $10. Like, of course, in my opinion, all of them are worth $10, but I know with shipping,
and all those things, sometimes things just wouldn't sell. And my whole point is to sell everything. So I feel like if I'm going to sell everything, I got to start it at a price that every single one of these items really should sell for $5 plus shipping, even if you were just buying it to flip it. And that's a lot of my audience on Whatnot. So about to let it rip. Gonna figure out what else I need to get done, and then probably work on eBay for just a little while until the show starts. All right, it's 4:55. I just finished up the stream. It went really, really well in my opinion. It was super fun. I'm very curious to see what the numbers are. There definitely was a lot of items that sold for less than what I thought, but there was also items that sold for more than what I thought. And I think that's just kind of what I realized the more I do Whatnot. And that's just kind of how it goes until you can get a bigger and more like consistent audience. It's gonna be up and down, up and down, up and down. Even item to item, it can be up and down. But I was really happy with at least some of the more expensive items I put on there that got a little bit more of a premium price on there. I didn't really lose money on many items and made plenty of good profits on some of the items to make up for some of those losses. So I'm gonna jump into the numbers and catch up with you guys at another time, probably like tomorrow in my world, but in the next clip for you guys, just to kind of go over the numbers and see what I actually made. I did have some time to work on my other businesses in the middle of the day. So I am going to have, I think, about exactly 8 hours into this show once I have it shipped. So what can I make in an 8-hour workday? Just thrifting and selling it all on Whatnot. We're about to find out. All right, it's the next day. I just got all the Whatnot orders packaged up, and it took me 40 minutes to get all 93 orders packaged up, which I think is really good. I actually got these little cards that are numbered. So when I was doing my Whatnot show, every single item was numbered in the specific order to the hanger that it was on, and it helped me ship the items very, very quickly, which was awesome. I got this IKEA bag here and this big stack. There's a few deep there. So shout out to you if you came out to the show and purchased anything. We really gave out some steals and deals. So that pretty much wraps up the experiment. The last thing I need to do is actually figure out what my profit was on the show. So I'm gonna do that so we can divide that by the amount of hours I have into selling all of those items so we can see what my profit is per hour, just hand picking items and selling them directly on Whatnot. Now I'm sure I'll talk about this some when I do the numbers, but I do wanna let you guys know if I were able to lower my cost of goods, like find a cheaper source, that could drastically increase the profit numbers because I did pay $9 per item for these items. Or if I had items shipped to my door, which I have been working on securing more inventory that way, that would eliminate the time spent sourcing. So if I made the same amount of profit in about half the time, because I think I'm gonna have about 6 to 7 hours into everything for the Whatnot show, and 4 of that was sourcing. So if I did it in 3 hours, that would drastically increase my dollar per hour. So we'll get back to you with the numbers.
What's going on? It's a few days later. I apologize for my voice, but let's break it down. We did $1,351 in sales, and after fees and what I spent on shipping the giveaways and any additional shipping charges, which there wasn't, the buyers paid all the shipping, we were left with $1,156 and some change. That's really the number that I'm looking at, and I'm comparing that with the inventory cost from the morning before. Now I did keep 3 items out of what I purchased that morning for my wife, like I mentioned, but I did spend $19, I think, on a Lululemon bag that I gave away in the show. So let's just call those a wash and call it $860 that I spent on inventory. If you rewind the video, that's what it said on the receipt, rounded up to the nearest dollar. And then let's round 1,156 down to that number. And then let's figure out what my actual net profit was for just 8 hours of work. I know earlier I said maybe 6, 7 hours. I'm just gonna call it 8 hours. You know, I think that's just an easier number to figure out what my actual profit per hour is. I punched that into the calculator and we came out with $296 in profit, which is honestly better than I thought based on how the show went, just being completely transparent. If you divide that by 8 hours, which like I said, it probably would be a little bit less and I could get faster. That was $37 per hour, which is definitely an okay wage. It's not what I'm hoping to make as a self-employed person because, you know, nobody's paying my insurance, nobody's paying my time off. So I'm personally shooting for $50 an hour or more on my time on really anything that I do. So I definitely would want to be trying to work on how to increase that as I move forward. But I did sell every single thing on Whatnot. If I was doing this again, I would have pulled some of the items. I would have pulled some of the lower end items that I knew wouldn't sell for a lot on Whatnot. And then I also would have pulled some of those banger items and listed them for like $150 to $200 on eBay. And I would have probably sold those middle tier items where I'm getting maybe 30 to 50% of the eBay value and I'm able to sell them really, really fast. And that would have definitely maximized that dollar per hour. Another thing that I mentioned earlier is that if I was not the one personally sourcing this inventory, then that would have doubled my dollar per hour because I had 4 of the 8 hours that was just into sourcing these items. So that would put me at what, $74 per hour. And then I'm at a very good place with my dollar per hour for that amount of sales and that type of inventory. I'd probably have to pay a little bit more for that quality of inventory if it was delivered to me. So let's just say I could make $60 an hour if I had that delivered to my door. So yeah, those are some things I'm thinking about with Whatnot. This was a really fun experiment. I hope you guys found it valuable. If you want to see more content on just growing a reselling business, whether it's eBay, Whatnot, whatever that looks like, definitely subscribe, follow along for the journey. If you want to get some steals and deals, I mean, some items sold for amazing prices today, definitely follow me on Whatnot so you can know when I'm going live to get those deals. And we will talk to you guys soon. Next video coming out is going to be my very best sales for the month of March. So you're going to be able to see all the bangers and the bolos from that month. So we'll talk then. Peace out.